What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Hope everyone out there is having a great start to the summer. It's like 100 degrees here in Canada, and as a polar bear, I'm melting. Need to get a brand new place. Need to get that heat pump installed in a couple days. So, unfortunately, I'm missing out on this heat wave. So, for all you guys are staying cool, what we're here today to talk about is a little bit of Madden 20 and a negative thing. I haven't done any negative videos for Madden 20 because, generally speaking, from everything that I've done, it's a good game. And what we needed, maybe, from Madden 19, while it didn't get the big franchise mode additions that I would have liked. Ultimately, we got Scenario Engine in Madden 20, which is not a feature that was designed specifically, I don't think, for franchise mode. I think it was more so carryover from Face of Franchise. Like, hey, this also will work in franchise mode. Let's put it in there. Pretty much the Pro Bowl. We got the Pro Bowl in Madden 20. And you know what? You know who's to blame if you guys are upset that we just got the Pro Bowl? You guys. Because every time you see one of those stupid lists of top work features community wants back, Pro Bowl's always on it. Pro Bowl's stupid. Takes way too much work, time, and effort to get the Pro Bowl to work. And this is what you got. You made your bed, now you gotta lay in it. We got the stupid Pro Bowl because they spent all that time trying to figure out a way to get all the helmets and all that stuff to work. And they didn't have enough time to add any other features into Madden 20. So ultimately, while it sucks that we didn't get more features in the franchise mode, Madden 20's gameplay is good. And we got the Pro Bowl that a bunch of dumbasses in this community kept requesting. So there you go. End of rant. But the video, the topic that we're doing this video, is why, yet again, NHL, the NHL franchise mode. We're going to talk about NHL 20 versus Madden 20 at probably about halfway through this video because I need to lay the groundwork here about why this rivalry, if you will, exists. We got to look back at Madden 19 and NHL 19. Last year, for features, NHL 19 smoked Madden. I did a video about that where NHL added this fog of war feature and their scouting system is ridiculous. Their scouting system is exactly what would be like the dream for any decent, moderate to hardcore franchise mode player in Madden. And I'm going to go through the features, try to do it as quickly as possible. But ultimately, last year, NHL 19's franchise mode beat up Madden's franchise mode. And Madden's franchise mode added the brand new archetype system, which I think is an awesome addition to franchise mode and was the facelifted that player progression desperately needed, and still NHL beat it. So how bad is this one-sided fight going to be when we compare NHL 20 and Madden 20? But let's go back last year to NHL 19. They added 3 big features to their franchise mode. First up, they added Revamped Scouting Engine, which means that you were able to assemble a team of up to 20 amateur and pro scouts that specialize in different skills and regions. Scouts now have over 30 ratings that determine their ability to scout players, and their 2 abilities are evaluation ability and region familiarity. So basically, if you had a scout that was good at evaluating players, you'd find out the skills, the stuff that we kind of get in Madden 19. We only get 3 in Madden 19. We scouted a player, you get 3 of their skills, like A+, B, C-, whatever. In NHL, you get something that's similar like that, but it's way more in depth. Or you have a scout that's region familiarity is his big bonus, which means when you send this player, the scout, to a certain place in the world, they get extra bonus. You get more information. So this would be able to carry over into Madden because you just have a region familiarity scout that's for the SEC or out on the Pac-12 on the West Coast. Same kind of deal. Easy carryover. So that smoked Madden because Madden scouting, and it still is in Madden 20, copy and pasted for the last, literally feels like the last 10 years. So that was a big win for Madden, NHL 19. NHL 19 also added innovative amateur scouting, which says amateur scouting is more detailed too, featuring a central scouting rank for each prospect that can be compared against the information your team and scouts has already collected. New reports provide insightful information about a prospect entering the NHL, including point totals, player personality, potential, strengths, and weaknesses that compare them to a similar NHL player or alumni. These are scouting reports that are absolutely what Madden desperately needs. Imagine right now when you look at Madden scouting, when you're going the offseason, you literally just have this bank of points. You spam A 4 times. You get 3 player abilities. You get to look at their combine for like a 1 week, pretty much, to see what their testing was. And that's it. Imagine if I went into your scouting and I was like, all right, we got Jay Johnson, running back from, knowing Madden, running back from William and Mary, first round grade, whatever. And I scouted them. Imagine if I just got a little report from my coach that said, hey, this guy here, I'm getting a lot of Zeke Elliott tendencies. You may see him from a small school. Teams will be scared of him. Pull the trigger. This guy here could be the next Zeke Elliott. He has that, between the tackle ability and, maybe some off the field issues, something like that. But having something like that that's an in-depth scouting would be massive for Madden. And last year, NHL had it, and it was smoking Madden. So right now, last year, this is already being like, Madden 19, we got the archetypes. It's kind of holding on with NHL, even though NHL is better scouting. What else is next? And then NHL dropped the bomb. They dropped that big-time haymaker, and they brought in Fog of War, which we've talked about a bunch of times on this channel. Quick recap, Fog of War is an exciting element that adds a layer of scouting to keep you engaged with teams around the league. When enabled, which means you can turn it off. So if Madden implemented this, just have an on-off button, which, it sounds like a tough sell because you want to put a lot of time and effort into a feature that people are just going to turn off, but, it is what it is. But when enabled, Fog of War will mask certain players' attributes as the season progresses, which requires you to send your scouts to go watch teams around the league to reveal updated information on players you want to acquire through trades or free agency. Playing or simulating games against other teams is another way to clear the Fog of War, as will help improve the accuracy ratings for opposing players. This is what we want to see in Madden. Basically, you can't go to my team, you can't look at the league leaders and be able from those menus, like you can right now, and see what the players overall is, see what their dev trait is, see how much speed, how much strength, how much finesse move they all have. That would be all hidden, and it would be on you as a GM, whatever you're playing within your franchise modes, to delegate the time and effort to go figure out if these guys are good or not, so that when you want to make a trade through the midseason, you know what's going on, or for impending free agents, it's going to light up your offseason. So if you don't do the scouting, when you go to the offseason, when you go to the free agency bidder, you're going to have a bunch of clouds, you're going to have a bunch of question marks because you didn't spend time scouting around the league. I feel like that element is desperately lacking in franchise mode, and that was the big knockout punch for NHL 19. The scouting and the Fog of War gave NHL 19 the big time first round victory. Now we are here in 2019 where it's NHL 20 versus Madden 20, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, what was done in NHL 19 probably still going to smoke Madden 20, but at least we're seeing a little bit of awareness from the Madden dev team, as they have taken a little bit of Fog of War and implemented it into Madden 20. Right now in Madden 20, when you draft a superstar X Factor or a superstar ability player, this developmental trait is going to be hidden. It's going to be masked until you play, I think it was 600 snaps with said player. That's, I like to see that. That means that they are kind of paying attention to what the other studios are working on under this EA umbrella, seeing what's working, and whatever gets okayed from the big wigs up top, they're going to implement it. So I feel like that at least in Madden 20, that we're seeing the slow implementation of Fog of War means that that's the direction that they're going to go in. In Madden 21, we're going to see even more of it, because really everything that's in NHL franchise mode needs to be added to Madden. And I'm going to finish the video, because now it's time to compare NHL 20 to Madden 20. I'm going to finish the video with, maybe my hot take. My hot take is how I'm going to finish this video. So that, understanding what we know about Madden 20, now we're moving on to the next games, that they spent all their time, I personally think, making the gameplay better. We did not get a lot of love in franchise mode. I kind of had my rant at the beginning about the Pro Bowl, and I think the scenario engine, while I don't think it was designed specifically for franchise mode, but it'll be grouped into the new franchise mode features, I think there's a lot of potential there. Add more storylines. What's the worst thing? You've watched many of my franchise mode videos. I have to come up with my own storylines. I still want to do that in Madden 20, but there's going to be times where it'd be nice to have the game throw me a curveball. So I think that is very much a welcomed addition. But outside of that, this was always going to be a losing battle, I think, for Madden this year, because they had so much that they had to fix on gameplay that there wasn't going to be a lot of love shown to franchise mode. But we need to do it. Let's compare Madden's franchise mode in Madden 20 to NHL's franchise mode in NHL 20. So in Madden 20, we got Scenario Engine and the Pro Bowl. When you look at what NHL had, they brought over everything that we talked about in Madden 19. The Fog of War, the scouting, all that stuff is still there. And then they brought in Coaching Carousel. It's like the NHL dev team just reads the Madden forums about what Madden players want and chuck it in their game. So here is the synopsis of Coaching Carousel coming to the NHL. NHL general managers have legendary itchy trigger fingers when it comes to canning coaches. Hell, after a slow start this year, the St. Louis Blues fired their coach and went on to win the Stanley Cup. So what can you do to argue the results? This coaching carousel dynamic comes to franchise mode for the first time, because they took it from football, because they've just been so afraid to put this feature back into a football game. As a GM, you control the fate of 8 different coaches in your organization, 4 in the NHL and 4 in the AHL. Obviously, if you're putting that in Madden, you just control, your head coach, OC, and DC. To make it easy. Sadly, none of these coaches are licensed, which has been it sounds like one of the bigger issues for Madden is Madden has said we don't have the rights for the coaching association to add in these coaches, which then again, you can just rebuttal it by, hey, you don't have Bill Belichick. You don't have the most famous coach. I don't think you should worry about having the authenticity, you know what I'm saying? But so in the NHL, for their coaching carousel, none of them are licensed, so don't expect to see coaches that you're familiar with. Instead, EA has created 300 different fictitious coaches, all with unique abilities, attributes, specialties, and schemes. The coaches affect the morale and performance of your players, and you can have conversations with them over the course of the season to promise or deny them that their coveted upgrade that they want to see for the player. So aka, the coach will say, go get me a speedster like Deshaun Jackson. It'll be your job to either get that or piss off your coaches. Like with the scouting system last year, which returns, former players can transition into coaching over time. So that's awesome. That's exactly what we used to have in Madden back in the day. I remember Brian Dawkins would retire on the Eagles, and I would hire him back to be my DC. But I mean, again, this just adding the big dog. This is the dragon. You know, if you watch that South Park where they're playing Guitar Hero and Randy's tracing the dragon, this is our dragon. This is the dragon that football fans have been chasing since the end of the NCAA series. Coaching carousel is paramount. I'm going to be absolutely... I said it was almost like a game-breaking feature that had to be added this year in a Madden 20. But understanding the gameplay and how good I feel the gameplay is to compensate for the lack of features in franchise mode. Like I said, not EA shield, not anything like that. If I tell you that the gameplay that I've played is enough to compensate for franchise mode not getting any kisses, hugs, not getting tucked in at night, trust me, it's worth it. But coaching carousel has to come. They have to just... Here's my finishing statement, and I kind of hyped up a little bit. The people that work on franchise mode in Madden, they are afraid to make the game too hard. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they have the direction from whoever's saying, hey, this is franchise mode. Like whoever's making the decisions on franchise mode. This is my plea to you. Make it harder. Don't make it easier. Franchise mode is the one time that we get to focus on the hardcore players, because everyone else is only going to play the game for maybe a year. If you're a casual player, you're going to play now, or you're going to do Ultimate Team. There's a huge demographic of people that are never going to touch it. So why continue to cater to them in franchise mode? You know what I'm saying? You're not going to, the only way I think you're going to cater to them is if you go all in to make a game that's loaded and robust with features like coaching carousel, like in-depth scouting, like more fog of war. Get guys that say, I want this challenge. But right now, everything in franchise mode is just so easy, so cookie cutter. Like, they add the fog of war, right? Which is good, but they only add it to Superstar, X Factor, and Superstar players. Everyone else you're going to know. Why? Make it so no one knows any of the rookie depth traits, so you have to actually play with them. You actually have to play the preseason games. You have to find ways to adjust your starting lineup and your depth chart to maybe get a rookie some snaps over a veteran that might get pissed off, that might throw a big thing into the scenario engine. But it's that risk versus reward. There's no to very little risk versus reward in Madden franchise mode. And I feel like this is a direction that the dev team needs to understand that they're going to have to go down. The more casual friendly you make franchise mode, the more people are just going to go, come on, man. Like, NHL has gone down the road of, the easiest way to put it is Madden has gone, the direction of Madden franchise mode has been, ultimately, it's user friendly. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, we're going to make it so you can pick up and play. And that hasn't worked for the last 10 years. The pick up and play people still bounce after half a season. But you have the hardcore franchise mode community. They'll play it every single year. Doesn't even matter the same. We'll just complain on the internet. Versus when you look at NHL's summary of their franchise mode, it's, well, we've added a lot. Hopefully they enjoy it. Worst case scenario, they can turn it off. So I feel like that is the approach that Madden needs to have to their franchise mode. Is we're going to add all these things that make it so in-depth that might only appeal to 75 to 80% of our franchise mode communities. But hey, you can just turn it off if you don't really want to have to go through all those steps. Because I understand there's still a casual aspect to franchise mode, but I feel like NHL wants to appeal to the hardcore player versus where Madden wants to appeal to the casual player. And the casual player in Madden ain't coming to play franchise mode. They're playing Ultimate Team. It's either always going to be that way, or they're not going to make that jump to franchise mode until you add a bunch more features to it. You brought in Face of Franchise that might be able to suck some players to come in and play franchise mode because they have their QB that they make. And then from that, once you're done all the cutscenes and stuff, you're pretty much playing franchise mode. Maybe that will get a couple players, but the issue is it's so lacking features that these brand new players are going to be like the hardcore players and get bored after that 1 year peak because there's just not enough to do. Versus all of the robust features that were in NHL that if they were in Madden, it becomes every offseason literally feels like a brand new season because you got to go to work. You got to go to work with your scouting. You got to go to work with your fog of war, your coaching carousel. What are you going to do? Are you going to start as a DC and work your way up, go to a bunch of different teams? There's just so much more you can do in NHL that I'm just, you know what? If I have to leave this video on a positive note, it's that we saw NHL look at developing and constantly trying to be on the forefront of brand new features. I don't expect Madden to be, I don't want Madden to retaliate. I don't want Madden to be like, we need to come with our own features to compete with that. I want Madden to just be inspired from the features that NHL has set. Be the trendsetter and learn. And we've already seen a little bit of that with Fog of War last year in NHL 19 and a little teaser, a little taste of Fog of War in Madden 20 when it comes to the dev traits. Go full on. I want to see brand new coaching carousel. I want to see brand new scouting, and I want to see Fog of War in Madden 21. Will we get it? I don't know. We'll probably have another video same time next year comparing NHL 21 to Madden 21. And all I can say is if we could take Madden 20's gameplay so far, continue to refine it just a little bit, but for the Madden 21 cycle, take all that manpower because you finally got the gameplay roughly where it needs to be. Power that into franchise mode, get inspired from some of the other titles that we have under this EA umbrella and make Madden franchise mode that much better. You have so much going for it right now. The expansion of Face of Franchise going into a franchise mode, you have that entry point to get a lot more players and their eyes and you're logging into franchise mode than you have ever before. You might have that opportunity to get a couple of the Ultimate Team players back to franchise mode, but the features, you need to go. I don't want to come into franchise mode. It's a rack of ribs and there's no meat left on the bone after a year. That's what happens right now. I want to be like 4 or 5 bones of that succulent meat that I can suck on for 9 to 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Getting them juices, getting that bone marrow. That's not there right now. So let's add that. Let's do better. And I'm excited for I was just say right now, I'm excited for the future of Madden franchise just because, showing that they add the Fog of War. They're not clueless. The people that are working this game, they're not clueless. They know what's going on. And hopefully we get a lot of okays to the request to add features in the Madden 21. And it is going to be the best franchise mode possible. So we still got Madden 20 ahead of us. Madden 20 season's right around the corner. I think Sunday I'll be dropping the video for what team we're going to be controlling in a Madden 20. At least right out the gate, I have a massive idea that would probably be about November time for a series that I don't even know if I can pull it off, but we'll just wait and see what happens with that. But make sure you guys stay tuned for that. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.